You walk into any electronics store in 2025, and it's not about TVs anymore. It's about control. Walls of screens flicker with impossible clarity. Soundbars hum with glassy voices. Everything feels smarter, sleeker, more alive. But behind all that gloss, something is listening. Not for your commands, for your data. No one tells you that your living room might already be listening. Watching, recording. Because in the race to create the smartest home, we forgot to ask, what are we letting in? Every year, homes get smarter. Our coffee brews itself. The thermostat knows when we're sad. The doorbell doesn't just ring, it judges. And the centerpiece of this digital kingdom? The television. Still the biggest screen in the room. Still where we gather on Sunday or collapse on Monday. But now, it's not just broadcasting content. It's capturing you. Not metaphorically, not philosophically, literally. Chapter 1. The Eye in the Corner. Friday night. You pour 2 glasses of wine. The room glows soft around the edges. Your daughter's toys scatter across the floor. One plastic car still wedged under the TV stand since Tuesday. You exhale. Press play. But what's watching who? See, that new smart TV? It's not just a screen, it's a sensor, a listener, a thin piece of glass that hears your voice, tracks your behavior, and sometimes sends it back. Brands call this personalization. You call it chilling. Samsung, LG, Vizio, TCL, the biggest names have all, at some point, been caught sharing more than just pixels. Chapter 2. The privacy policy you never read to improve your viewing experience. That's how it always starts. But when you hit agree, you don't just accept better colors or smoother playback. You often allow your TV to record what you watch, track when you're home, sell your habits to third parties. Some of them install automatic content recognition and ACR, a feature that scans what you're watching across apps, cable, even DVDs, and sends that data to marketing firms. What you watch, how long, at what volume, which parts you rewind. Yes, even the weird stuff you only watch when no one's looking. It's all on the record, and most people have no idea. Not because it's hidden, but because it's written in 87 pages of legal gray. Chapter 3. The Worst Offenders. Let's name names, because this isn't guesswork, it's documented. Vizio. In 2017, they were fined $2.2 million for secretly tracking viewing habits on over 11 million TVs. They didn't just monitor, they sold data tied to your IP address. LG caught collecting data even after users disabled permissions in settings. Your no meant yes, but quieter. Samsung. Some of their older models had always-on mics that could pick up background conversations, not just voice commands. Their own privacy policy warned, quote, "Please be aware that if your spoken words include personal or other sensitive information, that information will be among the data captured." Think about that. You're making dinner, venting about your boss. Meanwhile, a plastic box in your living room is archiving every word. Yes, some of these issues have been patched, but ask yourself, why were they there in the first place? Chapter 4. The Data You Didn't Mean to Give. Let's be honest, you're not alone. Most people don't read privacy settings. They just want to watch Netflix and pass out. But these moments, the ones where you click accept all. Because you're tired, because the dog's barking, because the kids want Bluey, these are the cracks companies slide through. You give them an inch. They take your Sunday habits, your search history, your audio commands, and your location metadata. And they don't just keep it quietly, they sell it to ad networks, to political targeting firms, to third-party partners with names you've never heard. Your screen turns you into a product, and the scariest part? That glossy panel never looks suspicious. It smiles back, with perfect resolution. Chapter 5. Real Homes, Real People. There's a mom in Illinois. She keeps the living room organized, most days, but her toddler loves the remote. switched from Disney Plus to ESPN during a tantrum, and next week, her ads changed. There's a couple in Arizona, watched a few documentaries late one night. Suddenly, their social feeds suggested pills they'd whispered about, not searched for. Coincidence? Maybe. But when enough people shout the same fear, it's time we pause. Just because a device feels normal doesn't mean it is, and the moments you assume are private aren't. Chapter 6. The Truth Under the Glass. We used to call it the boob tube, something dull, something passive. Today, it's the brightest thing in your home, connected, intelligent, listening. But that intelligence comes with arrogance. You didn't ask for surveillance, you asked for picture quality. You didn't request a nightly data dump, you wanted to binge Stranger Things. But privacy isn't the default anymore. It's the upcharge, the thing you have to hunt down, turn off, and reconfirm every time there's an update. And here's the most uncomfortable truth. Sometimes, the settings lie. You can untick every box and still get tracked, because often, the off switch is just another performance. Chapter 7. The Illusion of Control. There's a silence in the room, the kind between shows, where the baby toy is still stuck under the stand, where leftover popcorn rustles softly, the screen dims, the room breathes. And if this moment feels private, it should be. But now, you can't quite be sure, can you? Because smart homes aren't smarter than you. They're just quieter about what they take. Chapter 8. The Silent Trade. You bring these machines home for convenience. Voice search, instant casting, automated calibration. They promise ease, comfort, efficiency, but every convenience comes with a trade. Not always in dollars, but in details. Your viewing habits become tokens, and those tokens get auctioned. In the data markets you'll never see. This isn't a glitch in the system. It is the system. Because for tech companies, selling TVs is just the appetizer. The real money lives in tracking you. For years, your device ID is quietly attached to dozens of lists. Soft-spoken, precise, invisible. The kinds of shows you like, your bedtime, your political leanings, the foods you order mid-watch, the apps you use frequently on your other devices while the TV's on. They build a map, not just of what you watch, but who you are when you're watching. And that map is sold again and again, not stolen, just signed away, with permissions you clicked past. Chapter 9. Which brands still track? Most Garmde. Let's get clear, this isn't paranoia, it's public record. Some brands do better than others, some have pulled back, a few never started. But here are the ones still raising red flags, not based on rumors, but their own documented behavior. Vizio, the leader in affordability and surveillance. Their business model was always more about data than displays. In internal memos, they wrote that selling viewing data was more profitable than selling hardware. Yes, really, most of their TVs come with ACR fully activated by default. And unless you explicitly opt out, your habits help them cash in. Samsung, a mixed bag. They've taken steps forward while quietly building sideways. They now bundle your Samsung TV behavior with data from your Samsung phone, your fridge, even your washing machine for ecosystem synergy. It's not illegal, it's just unsettling. And most of it happens without a real, informed yes. Red Triangle Chinese-backed brands often praised for performance-to-value ratio, but transparency? Not their strong suit. TCL has been flagged for firmware updates that reset privacy choices. Hisense? Their privacy practices vary wildly by region, and their privacy teams tend to vanish when laws don't force them to show up. Sony better than most, if far from perfect. Sony doesn't rely as heavily on data sales. But remember, they still input your content behavior into internal AI systems. So while they may not sell your secrets, they use them. LG improved, but inconsistently. Data collection is still leveraged aggressively for ad targeting. They've simplified opt-outs. but burrowed those choices 3 menus deep. The key, unless you're actively looking, you won't find them. Chapter 10. Scenes from a Smarter Living Room. It's Sunday, late morning, the window's open, too much glare. There's a half cup of coffee resting on a worn wooden table. You're flipping between a nature doc and your to-do list, wrestling guilt and escapism. And in the sea of mundane, something tiny matters more than you think. You paused during a trailer, rewound a certain part, lingered longer on a lineup of thumbnails, and somewhere, miles away, that moment just made someone money. Behind the screen, someone learned that you preferred documentaries with forests, that you stayed longer on scenes involving animals, and that your partner skips intros while you watch them every time. This isn't fiction. Smart TVs are built to remember the microscopic, built not just to show content, but to learn your rituals, how long you browse before choosing, whether you're more likely to click if the color red is in the title card, when you stop a movie, when you turn the volume low. The living room is now a lab, and you are the subject. Chapter 11. The Existential Pause. Here's the part the tech blogs don't write about. What does this constant watching do to us? Not the pixels, not the ads, but the feeling, that nagging sense that you're never quite alone, that you're not just watching, but also being watched, that a machine remembers you more intimately than your partner does, that your moments of escape might not be yours at all. Even smart TVs that promise offline modes so often forget. They reset preferences, they auto-enroll you again after updates, they quietly re-enable tracking features you swore you had turned off. Even in sleep mode, some remain connected, half asleep embers of silent connection, spanning time zones you'll never visit. Chapter 12. How to Fight Back. Let's make something clear. You're not helpless. This isn't a call to throw your TV into the lake, but it is a call to get smarter than the screen. Here's what you can do. Not tomorrow. Tonight. Disable ACR. Find it in your settings, viewing data, smart interactivity, or Live Plus. Turn it off. If you don't use voice search, disable the mic too. Disconnect unless needed. You can use parts of the TV without constant internet. Apps? Maybe, but keep your network settings lean, especially when you're not streaming. Use external devices. A streaming stick like Roku or Apple TV often gives you more control. Their settings don't depend on random smart TV interfaces. Recheck privacy. After updates. Yes, every update, because some brands sneak changes in like stowaways. Buy transparent brands. Only support companies that don't bury their privacy settings. Research before you buy. Ask real people. Read the fine print. Smart doesn't have to mean secretive. Connected doesn't have to mean compromised. Chapter 13. What we forgot to ask. We've been chasing improvement in the wrong direction. More pixels, higher frame rates, brighter HDR. But when did the conversation stop being about trust? When did we invite strangers into our house, then let them take notes during dinner? When did watching TV become a two-way mirror? We didn't sell our privacy, we gave it away for surround sound and a smoother menu interface. And now, we're trying to claw it back with tutorials and firmware fights. Maybe it's time to step back, to remember that stillness is not weakness, that privacy is not a luxury, it's not something you earn, it's something you're entitled to by default. Final reflection. Behind the glass. A choice. The next time you sit down, TV glowing faintly in a room that finally feels like yours, ask yourself, is this how you imagined it? Is this the future you hoped for? Or the one that quietly settled in while you were just trying to find the remote? The truth is painful, not because it surprises us, but because deep down, we already knew. Your TV is watching, but you get to decide what it sees. Walk back into your home, into your real life, and take that control back. They want one that's smart enough to work. Before you go, hit that subscribe button. We don't just review, we expose. From the hype to the hidden failures to the tricks brands hope you'll never question. So, hit like, tap subscribe, and join thousands of smart shoppers who already know. Smart spending starts with asking smarter questions.